So, what's the difference between being a left and a right-brained human being? And how are the left and right sides of the brain involved? Complicated stuff, but it's okay. We talked to our creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush, this morning about the miracle of our children's brains and how they make them to who they are today. Nikki, this is very interesting. Welcome back.
Thank you, Ewan. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated about the brain, how it works. Am I a left side brain person? Am I a right side? I'm hoping you can unpack this for us.
Well, yeah, what we actually want is for our children to be whole-brained.
Yeah.
Because you've got the left, you've got the right, and they need to dance together. And it was Einstein who said, logic will get you from A to B, but imagination will take you anywhere.
That's it.
And we need both.
So let's take a look at it. From the beginning, left and right, which side of the brain then starts developing first as
Well,
with
this
kids?
is very, very interesting. So the right brain, which is your creativity, your feelings, innovation, thinking outside the box, empathy, you know, all these lovely, warm, fuzzy things, your sense of being in the world. This develops by about the age of 3. And your left brain really starts kicking in from about the age of 7.
Oh, really?
Which is why we talk about the first 7 years being of critical importance developmentally.
I see.
And that left brain is more logical, more process-orientated. It's analyzing things, pulling things apart for detail. You know, it's a very process-orientated side of the brain.
Okay, now I want to know, because the early years, very, very important, how much of a role does play in brain development?
Right. So play is huge because it doesn't put children under pressure to constantly be sitting in their left brain. It gives children freedom.
Yeah.
It gives them choice. It has fewer boundaries, and they can develop that sense of wonder and surprise about the world, that enchantment. They can dream, they can imagine, they can just be. And it's about creating opportunities for our children to experience their sense of becoming in the world before we push them too quickly into the left brain. Okay, and the left brain loves to have a goal, and it loves to have an outcome.
Yeah.
So it follows a specific kind of process in order for something to look like this, whereas in the right brain, it doesn't have to look like anybody's anything. It just can look like what I want it to look like.
And listening to what you're saying now, I can see the importance thereof, because so many times, often on the show when you joined us, we spoke about the importance of playing and what role that plays within the development. And now with children with the rigid academic structures they have at schools, they're bombarded with the information, goal setting. So I can understand how the balance, how it's so important to try and keep a balance between play and learning.
Also, play and working in the right brain often builds a sense of confidence in a child's being, in who they are.
Yeah.
And when they are put into too much formal learning too soon, too quickly, they can get tired, they can get frustrated, they can give up too soon, and they go into a state of learned stupidity, learning to be incapable, of throwing in the towel, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Because we're wanting them to stick to so many rigid rules and processes.
Wow.
So they do need that balance of being able to try things and experiment. It's a little bit like, you know, there's a puddle. Is the puddle a problem, or is the puddle an opportunity?
I like that. It's an opportunity. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Nikki, thank you very much. We're going to continue talking about this very, very cool, fascinating stuff indeed about those bright young minds you have at home.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Now, early on in the show this morning, we spoke about the role between the right and the left brain in a child's development. And we continue that conversation right now with our parenting expert, Nikki Bush, joining us. Thank you very much. Once again, always lovely to have you.
Thank you.
So just to recap quickly, what are the primary functions of the left and the right brain?
So we need both, Ewan, and the left brain, we live in a very left-brained world, is about reading, writing, literacy, numeracy, it's about measurement, it's about getting from A to B, and the right brain is that more creative side of us. We always think it's the arty side of us, but it's way more than that. It's where all those emotional things sit, where all the warm fuzzies, the empathy, the compassion, the innovation, creativity, where our sense of being is versus the left brain where it's a sense of doing.
Okay, all right. So with regards to our children living in today's fast-paced kind of life, do they run the risk of being pushed too much into the left brain kind of scenario and learning and not as much on the experience, emotional, warm and fuzzies?
Absolutely. So I think we are at risk of pushing them too far into the left because life and school has become very much about measuring our children's progress and process, to splitting hairs about minute details, which you will know because you have children in preschool.
Yeah.
And you wonder, is this all absolutely necessary? Should we be focusing maybe more on allowing children to actually express themselves and experience who they are, not just what they can do? And maybe they would get better at what they can do if they had a better sense of who they are. So essentially, the left brain is supposed to be the servant of the right brain. So the right brain comes up with the ideas and the left brain executes them.
Well, that makes sense.
Doesn't that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
But that's actually not what we really taught.
Yeah.
We taught that they're quite separate.
Yeah.
But actually they are inextricably linked. And we are bringing children up in a world that is honoring the servant, the left brain, and has forgotten the gift of the right brain. And if we want new innovations and breakthroughs for mankind, they're going to come from the right brain executed by the left brain. Somebody's then got to package those ideas and make sure you can actually do something with those ideas. And we're all a mixture of left and right, and some of us are more predominantly one or the other. But it really is important that we help our children to build that strong foundation on which to use that left brain.
So what advice do you have then for parents to make sure that you bring up a well-rounded, holistic child that uses both sides of the brain equally well?
Let's make sure our kids have fun, have a bit of freedom to move, freedom to explore, freedom to doodle, freedom to make a mess. That they don't just build the Ferrari out of their Lego, but they get to build anything that they can imagine. So the theatre of the mind is so important. Read to your children. Tell stories out of your imagination. Don't let them sit in front of a screen playing with other people's ideas all the time. Because you know what happens to kids in creative writing classes today is all they're doing is pulling from the memory banks of what they've seen on a screen. They're not actually coming from a place where they're having to imagine what the character looks like because they were reading a book with no pictures. So it's important to allow their brains to wander, to potter, to ponder. Because going back to the little story we left the last segment with, is a puddle a problem or an obstacle, or is it an opportunity?
It's an opportunity. I'll say it again. We leave it there. Nikki, thank you very, very much. Fascinating stuff indeed. So go out there and nurture those young minds that you have at home.